I said I love you. Who would you trust if I told you lies? What would you do if I turned the tables? And where would you run if you're running out of time? You're running out of time. I said I hate you. And what would you dream if you get some sleep? Or who would you blame if the world would listen? Tell me, what will you change if a change was all you need? A change was all you need. If I had the answers, and what would you paint if it all turned grey? Or what would you think if your mind was open? Or tell me, where would you end if it ended today? It ended today. It ended today. It ended today. It ended today.
Good evening and welcome back to my dwarven fortress of Keskalokil, where I seem to still be in the thing that I was putting in the screenshot. Well, yes, I suppose we can talk about that, can't we? Where I have arranged that my new squads have both a melee weapon and a wooden crossbow. I actually think I should maybe give them wooden shields to reduce the amount of stuff they're carrying, the weight they're carrying a bit more, in the hope that they will then learn how to use crossbows, which is a thing that heretofore I haven't been doing in this fortress because there were reputed bugs in early versions that made crossbow training really difficult. I think in part those have been fixed, and possibly in part people have worked out what they are and how to work around them. Because we did find that no one was actually training with their crossbows. Steph says your voice is clipping slightly. That probably means I've buggered up. Oh yes, that looks like a bad idea. Let's try that, and then that so we turn it back up later in the pipeline. Steph, let me know if that's a bit better. Meanwhile, I should run IRC on there and not on there, which will of course mean I miss Steph's. That's better. Right. Yes, it was the usual problem that that Pulse Audio's setting for how loud the microphone was set too high, and then OBS was dipping it, but that wasn't enough because it had already clipped by then. So I've turned things down to like half volume in Pulse Audio and turned it up in OBS. Yes, because what has changed with this stream, unlike the last stream, is that I've just upgraded from Debian Bookworm or whichever it was to Trixie. And, well, apparently everything is not horribly broken. Some things are horribly broken, but Dwarf Fortress is still working fine. Well, as fine as it ever does. So, yes, what I did do a little bit of research, by which I mean I looked at the Dwarf Fortress wiki for like 10 minutes on Friday evening, when I should have been getting some sleep, which is why I put that song on as our intro, in order to remind me. And it said that for some reason dwarves will only go and train crossbow usage when they are set not to train, as though there's an accidentally getting a condition wrong, some condition backwards somewhere in the code. So possibly what we can do is to say that is to change the schedules of, I mean, possibly we could just try taking whichever, the Oceanic Calm at least. See what do the other, which ones have I actually equipped with crossbows? So the Oceanic Calm, right, so we're short of crossbows, but the Oceanic Calm have theirs. So let's take the Oceanic Calm and schedule them to off duty and see what that does. Why does it pause the first time I unpause after starting up, eh?
It's considering its life choices.
Right, so yeah, we have a bit of unhappiness going on in this fortress, but it's getting lower. I think the new arrivals take a little while to like get a stock of happy thoughts, like being pleased with their bedrooms and pleased with the dining room and so forth.
Takes them that long to find that arse from their elbow.
Yes, and so anything early on that makes them sad pushes them into yellow and orange because they haven't yet built up a reservoir of happiness from the architecture. I mean, okay, the architecture is at an architecture level, it's all terrible. The workmanship's pretty good though. The architecture's a disaster. I kind of keep thinking I should like demolish large parts of this fortress and rebuild them sensible. So we are expecting probably a goblin siege, albeit at least based on past years, a fairly small one in the next month, in early autumn, as I recall.
Maybe the siege change will mean it's not fairly undercover.
Yes, it might not be as tiny as it would have been in the past. We don't know, but like probably good to start our experience of new style sieges. I don't think there's any point in forbidding those eggs. They've been there for a long time. Probably best to start our experience of new style sieges with a small one. So, oh yes, we are currently carving, I think, yes, a memorial to the unfortunate miner whom I instructed to saw off the branch he was sitting on. And while he did saw it off in the correct direction, nonetheless, the backwash from dropping a ton of rock into the sea caused him to drown. What I should have done was some complicated thing involving a support and a distant lever, and next time I'll do that. But sadly this time, how are we doing for coal? Have we reached the point where I need to go and mine more? Looks like it, yes. I'll just check, because I kind of don't believe that. We don't have that much iron either. This is our attempts at getting everyone adequately equipped. We have implausible amounts of copper and implausible amounts of soap still, even though the soap industry has been shut down for years. And also implausible amounts of billen for like reasons. Possibly we don't need any billen either. But we are short of both iron and coal is obviously going to be necessary to get iron. So I think I should remember where we've seen any kinds of coal and mine more of it. So that was a small bituminous coal. So yeah, we do have, there's some, and that probably doesn't connect back up to the caverns. Let's be if we're that kind of cautious about it, then I think that will work, won't it? Is that some bituminous coal? It is. Right, let's also, at lower priority, dig over to, oops, no, wrong mode, dig in ordinary mining mode over to there and down to there to isolate that one so we don't accidentally auto mine it. Actually, let's do this bit manually as well for now. Oh, but do that as a higher priority. Right. That way we can get a bit more coal. Is there any more conveniently to hand? There was one somewhere. Yes, down here there was some lignite. So we can start mining that as well. Is it damp? No, it's not damp. Good. Right. Seb points out that the drowned dwarf was probably female. Yes, I think you're right. Sorry. Still dead though. Oh, I think we've just finished building her her memorial, so we can confirm that. We've run out of space in the cupboard we use. Oh no, there's one. We've almost run out of space in the cupboard we fill with slabs, but not quite. There's a gap there. So we will install that. Seb says, the memorial cupboard. Yes, well I could put it out on the end of that pier. That feels kind of like the Empress's or Queen grave in Okami, that's like out in the sea.
Oh,
Himiko, yes. Right, there we go. We will construct Col Shemezum's memorial at the end of the pier that she drowned, well, demolishing actually. I'll try not to drop it in the sea again. Killed by Ben ordering her to do something stupid. Yes, sorry. I try not to order the dwarves to do stupid things. I mean, I did make sure she wasn't going to immediately drown, but it turned out that the dust caused by a cave-in is quite dangerous if you're in the sea. Dizzy says, does the ghost come back if the memorial is immersed? I think as long as it's properly constructed, it'll be fine. If someone goes and demolishes the rest of the pier, then the ghost will turn up. I mean, she hasn't started haunting us yet. I just thought I should, while I knew that we weren't going to get her body back. Why is there a pool of giant crab blood there? While I knew we weren't going to get her body back, I thought we should make her a memorial. Yes, as Seb says, head the ghost off at the pass. Okay, no one seems to be actually doing the coal mining I was hoping for. That was some lignite. Just going, is there any more coal we know of in higher levels that we should? Have we still got a decent amount of iron ore? I presume we have. Yes, okay, we've got 84 hematite in stock before we even think about the limonite. Right, there is no shortage of iron ore, so we essentially mostly need to get more coal in order to make things, which means we really should be, if we're coal limited, we should be smelting everything at a magma smelter, shouldn't we? I mean, we've got a magma smelter up here, but it's currently mostly being used to melt down. Seb says, how do you make a new legendary miner? Is it just practice? Yes. Yes. Our current miner, whom we have assigned to this task, is not yet legendary. No one here other than our chief medical dwarf knows how to mine at all, so they're going to have to get some practice in. Stukos Regon Shen is probably busy doing something else at the moment, like learning how to use some other weapon. So, oh yes, we should look at what the Oceanic Calm are up to now. They seem to be properly off duty at the moment. But it's possible that that means they're mostly organising themselves, getting food, that kind of thing. There's certainly a lot of people currently picking up equipment. So yeah, maybe we should do... I wonder what state our hauling extra magma up system is in. I mean, we could just use our existing magma smelter, which would save the faff of trying to divert the mine cart. What have we got by way of routes that are used for hauling magma up? We have a magma transport route which goes fill at the bottom and then do some kind of guiding, and so yeah, I think and then one somewhere up at the top which just goes give it a good shove and hope for the best. Yes. Now push off east immediately always. It's at that stop. So if I go to somewhere right down here, yes, there is actually a minecart there waiting to be filled. So we did construct this kind of complicated system for filling minecarts. And I don't actually know whether it works. How far did it get? So we've got a downward ramp here, and then, so that's upward and downward, and then there that's an upward, and then we will travel along there and hit that downward ramp, which will then go down there, and ideally down there, but we haven't yet actually flooded that area with magma, which is obviously the plan. And yes, I think then the idea was it would bounce up there and then go round those corners. Right, well, we should obviously flood that area with magma and then see what happens, shouldn't we? Right, so that's slightly tricky because we actually have to dig downwards into this square, and then we're going to have to reconstruct all of the stuff on top of it again. Which, yeah, that's quite complex. That's an north, south and east ramp. And I probably have a good reason for that weird design. Oh well, let's... This is actually going to involve some mining, some technically mining operations, because I think we need to clear this square of ramps so that we can then dig into it. Let's do that at fairly high priority, higher priority than getting coal. Because while we'd like some coal, there are other things we'd like to do first. And like, it's possible that the new sieges will be so scary that the only thing that we can do with them is flood them with magma. So I wonder how many wooden shields we've got. I mean, the thing about wooden shields is they do wear out a bit quickly. Right, essentially none. And so if we make a load of wooden shields, we will have to keep replacing them. So maybe it is better if they're metal. Oh, look, someone has erected a siltstone slab to Kol Shemezum. It says, in memory of Kol Shemezum, born 40, drowned in the year 122, creator of the evaporated sides, chief medical dwarf of the Treaty of Caves 120 to 122, at one with Bandfire Opal.
Okay.
Poor Kol Shemezum.
Not in fact chief medical dwarf for a very long tenure.
No. I'm not quite sure why. It might have been an accident. Loved being told not to dig in silly places. No, sorry, loved not being told to dig in silly places. Well, yes, probably. Right, let's... is anyone doing any digging yet? No. I think a problem with assigning one of our new arrivals to be the new miner is that they have other work to do. Maybe we'll assign one of the new arrivals whom we're hoping to do some archery to the task of mining and see if they're interested in it. Yes. No, our new chief medical dwarf has set to work on it.
The tradition in this fortress is the chief medical dwarf is also a miner, so
Yes.
having been appointed chief medical dwarf, they are now...
No, this one was already a miner. I think possibly they got appointed as chief medical dwarf because they were a miner. Don't know. We're still making masterwork bone bracelets, though. I mean, possibly now we should be making bone crossbow bolts instead. Though, to be fair, let's not worry about that until we actually manage to practice with shooting things. That lot are still picking up equipment. But you seem pretty well equipped to me. Okay, you're now quite wet. This is a common feature in our fortress. I'm now going, have we got the equipment wrong? Because you're off duty, but you're now not wearing your armour, which is not how things are meant to go. Damn it. We have uniform. Oh no, uniform replaces clothing. That's what we want. Right. Is this squad's off-duty schedule wrong? Oh yes, we want you to be equipped always, not... Right, so now everyone's going to go back to running around trying to find their correct equipment for being military again. Let's just check whether the others... They should all be equipped always and not equip. Yes, those ones are, but the other two weren't. So now this poor dwarf is going to be going, oh, I need wearing something completely different again.
Dwarf looking for socks.
Yes. Well, she's got a shield and a crossbow. Good start. Dizzy says, what's the downside to having your dwarves always wearing their military gear? Not a lot. It probably makes them slower because they're wearing heavy armour. There isn't much... It might make them slightly less happy if they're not wearing the kind of clothes they like, but that's really not very significant. And in return, they're wearing stuff that almost can't wear out, and that means that they're armoured all the time. So yeah, I mean, there's a reason why your stereotypical fantasy dwarf spends all their time in their armour. We should let this lot out before they die of thirst. Can you all swim now? You're a proficient swimmer because we accidentally locked you in the swimming pool for a month.
Stream.
We're now getting this blue crab blood all over the place, which is kind of weird. And of course, they can't go and practice archery unless they actually have their crossbows with them. So yes, that's why all of those dwarves suddenly ended up in pick up equipment tasks, and are still stuck in them because they're now trying to reorganise themselves back. Why are you so unhappy? Okay, you apparently, among other things, need some crafting to do. Oh, we can probably do that in a bit. Oh, I forgot to check who the dwarves were that I just trained to swim, didn't I? Stokeface. Well, they're members of the Silent Smiths, I think. Tun Izeth Thingamy, and Aloth, and Ficod. Okay, I think there are 3.
Clean towels.
Let's just check I've got that right. So those can now ideally become members of one of these. So can Udil, Locum and Zuntir swim? I can't remember. Yes, it looks like it. So I think that means that all of our new arrivals are now swimming capable. Hooray! But we've also learnt some more things about swimming, in that Cole sank when she was stunned. She sank all the way to the bottom of the sea, and she recovered from being stunned and was able to swim around, but wasn't able to surface, and drowned despite having regained consciousness quite a long time earlier. So I think we need to be quite careful around deep water. Any water less than 7/7, and everyone can survive in it. Precisely 7/7 and swimmers can survive, and I'm not sure once it gets deeper than 7/7 whether anyone can reliably survive, which is kind of annoying. These are still mostly picking up equipment. Yes, it's possible if they fall into the water smoothly enough, or if they're actually swimming horizontally, they might be able to survive going over deeper water. Given that you mostly can't tell dwarves to go swimming, I don't think, at least not under normal circumstances. Possibly if they're really good swimmers, they might be willing to do it. We mostly can't test this, or at least not easily. Right, has any of that mining I asked for got done yet? Where was it anyway? I've lost it. Oh yes, there, that was some of it, wasn't it? So, yes, it has. Good. Where was it? Where was the coal I was mostly mining? I've lost it. So there's that layer where I asked them to dig out the little bits of coal at that edge, and I can now make that an auto mine as and when you have the time for it task. Then there was some more higher up, wasn't there? I mean, there's some there that can safely be mined, as I think can that. Oh well. I'm sure we'll find more coal. Oh yes, it was here, wasn't it? Yes. And those are still waiting to be mined, yes. And there there we've dug around to here, and then we can safely mark those and those for mining as well. Presumably our chief medical dwarf is now off doing something else again. Yes. Storing some items in bins. Right, so we have now removed that enough stuff from there that we can cut into that floor. So let's do a higher priority downward digging there, which will no, that's worrying. Ooh. Because if we cut through there, that will stop that ramp going up to there, and I'm not sure I want that. No, I think we have to do this sideways. Which means I need, annoyingly, to reconstruct that thing I carefully deconstructed. Seb says, what are the small dots in the magma? Let's have a look. Fire snakes. I think those are vermin, so they are small enough that they don't actually have stats or exist. They're more like mobile items than actually creatures. Right, so I think what I actually want to do is to let the magma into here from one of the sides, and going down from there is going to be a bit awkward. So let's do it from this side. So we can dig there. Oh, wrong mode. There. And there. And we're going to want to reconstruct a ramp there. So that's going to be build a ramp. Can we build a ramp that's also a track? I don't think we can these days. I think we have to do those separately, annoyingly. And now it turns out that there's no rock anywhere nearby because someone's moved it all away. What What of this is going? The lightest thing is probably going to be making out of porcelain bricks, isn't it? Everything else around here is made out of granite. So oh, we've got a bunch of granite rock blocks higher up. Let's do it out of granite blocks then. Right. Still seem to be a bit reluctant to go and practice archery. I'll give them a bit longer, and then we'll do some more experiments. Possibly we could experiment with the new siege engines as well. Apparently ballistae are like actually able to be aimed now. Which means that the mad collimator that I built in the previous fortress may be unnecessary. And there's also a thing called a bolt thrower, which appears to be like a fixed Gatling crossbow sort of object. Which we might want to experiment with. Like, I wonder what we could set up on this side of the river pointing at this area. What are you doing? Like, I just want to keep half an eye on anyone who's doing something in that area. Okay, that's fine. Where are you looking for a giant hamster? Okay, you just moved that giant hamster 1 square, didn't you? I can tell. So it looks like most of them have now got their equipment, but they're still not going and practicing archery. And the oceanic calm are definitely assigned to that, along with the fountains of gravel. I presume suspending it doesn't suddenly cause them to go, oh, we'll do that then. I expect that bit does work the right way round. Oh, but one of our new arrivals is off digging. Well, I hope you enjoy learning to dig. You've got yourself a pick. Well, I mean, we do have one squad that's currently scheduled to dig, scheduled to train in one that's not. So, like, my hope is that that at least will hedge things a bit. I mean, our new digger is actually going down to work on the magma area, but like, this should be fairly safe, actually. I don't think we've killed anyone with magma yet. All right, that ramp is built now. See, she now has dabbling miner skill. And a cat, apparently. Is that your cat? No. It's just a friendly cat who happens to be going past. Right, so then we can install some track on that ramp as well. So we want to go build track from there to there. That's stairs, not track. Okay, I can't build track starting there because... Oh, maybe I can. Right, and then we can cancel most of that. Because we only actually want to build one square of it. We just need it to be connected properly. Right. And then I think actually it's safe to say, please dig down and let the magma in. Except that we still can't, because that isn't actually enough space to connect it. We need, if we dig through there, then we'll also need to dig through there. Okay, that will be fine, won't it? Yes. So we'll start by scheduling that one square. Right, it is early autumn. So that means that we are in danger soon of getting some incoming goblins. It's the first of limestone. But first we have to save, and as my fortress gets older, saving gets slower and slower and slower and slower. Oh, do you get to see the dwarf fort is not responding messages? I assumed that those weren't part of the window and so weren't being captured. I mean, it's fine. It just takes it a little while to... Right, we have some tribute. The saving just occasionally sticks a bit. Right, so usually sometime before the 15th we get a visit from the goblins, and I think in the last year we've had one every season, so I'm kind of expecting another one now. But first these elves have to arrive, bringing whatever tribute they're bringing, and try not to drown themselves, which they should be okay with. And try not to be too upset by the number of dead goblins around. You've brought me some silty clay. Thank you. Presumably at some point we're going to run out of bones to make bracelets out of, but we seem to have plenty of them at the moment. Right, our new miner is heading back down again to try letting some, well, the first step of letting the magma into the magma pickup area where we hope it can be picked up. Oh good, she's feeling satisfied at work. It's a long way down.
A long way down. She felt satisfied after sliding down a banister.
Sadly, I think she's found some other bits of digging to do. Where's our incoming elf got to? Wonder where the lost raven is as well. So we still don't seem to have people effectively training crossbowry. I have paused that. Let's unpause that. I don't think having the location paused is useful. Right, and Dusim is on her way back down to let the magma in. Yes, I think individual combat drill the people who are doing that are doing it in the barracks and thus not doing it with a ranged weapon, I hope, because that would be dangerous. Oh, right. So usually in the past we would, if we got an incoming goblin thief, they would come with a siege. But this one does not appear to have come with a siege yet. There's the elf who's meant to be bringing... Oh dear, what a pity. The elf who's meant to be bringing some silty clay appears to have got stuck on the bridge that will open if any hostile creature stands on that square. Oops. The goblin thief has, I think, just stepped onto a weapon trap and will probably not last very long. And meanwhile, I fear that elf has just gone spleesh.
Maybe elves can swim.
Trying to learn very quickly. But the roof will close to make... Yes, the roof is closed, so she can't escape anyway. So our elven tributary has drowned due to spending too long standing on the platform. Meanwhile, the goblin encountered a weapon trap and really didn't last very long at all, owing to having no armour on because thief rather than soldier. So is that all we're getting this season, I wonder? Just one goblin thief who unsurprisingly doesn't last very long.
It is possible that the schedule procedures has changed as well.
Yes. Maybe it'll take them longer to get here because they're bringing a battering ram or something. Who knows?
Well, and also, I mean, if I had been sending a bundle of N goblins every quarter and they got destroyed, then perhaps saving them up and sending 4 N goblins all at once, at the start of a year, might have a better chance of overwhelming your defences.
Yes. Right, so I think we now have magma slowly flooding those squares. The very odd way that the depressions in the magma move around.
What are the pluses?
They are fire snakes. They're actually some kind of small circle or something. They're not quite a centred dot because that would be even smaller, but... Well, I mean, they are tiny pluses, but that's because that's as accurate as you can get in this font to a solid, smallish circle. Right, yes, so you can see we're running out of coal now. So, but we now, so this might be capable of being filled with magma, but we have the slight problem that at the moment, it's a bit difficult to get this minecart out. Because if we push it this way and up here, it will go up and then not be able to actually... That upward ramp doesn't line up with the downward ramp on the level above because there's a track over it. So why is this minecart here? That's not helpful. But I think what I intended was that the minecart would come down under gravity, go through those 2 squares and fill up with magma, and then come out and round here and stop here, and then the dwarves would take it from here and push it upwards. So I think what I want to do is adjust magma transport so that possibly we want to delete both stops. Gareth reminds me I have tea. I think we want to delete both stops and then make a new stop here Let's close that and reopen it so that things end up in the right order. We'll call filled because it should happen just after they're filled. And that should just be guide west immediately always, and then we need another stop. Oops, no, that's not a stop. Another stop somewhere on the surface which is connected to that.
I've only just noticed the name of Necrogomopolis Rulia, which is, was that deliberately Lovecraftian?
No, that's just an abbreviation for railway because we can't fit the word railway in there.
Deep in his tomb at Rulia, the Necrogomopolis lies dreaming.
So I'm just thinking, what would we want to do? Where would we want to be making iron ore into iron, into steel, into something useful? Like there's an argument we want to do it wherever we're mining the stuff, but that's all over the place. Or do we do it where we have been historically doing it, which will probably involve diverting the railway there? Ooh, that's going to be kind of awkward. Or do we just say no, actually, all of our metalworking is now going to happen on the surface, even though that's a bit weird? I think we do that. So I think then let's for now just try to get some magma up here. And not worry too much about where it is, and then we can move it around. Can we sensibly move the filled minecart of magma if we just bring it somewhere? I think we can. It might be a bit faffy, but
I think when I'm in charge of magma handling, my policies will under no circumstance involve not worrying too much about where it is.
I mean, the alternative is well, actually, it won't take us very much effort. The problem is that I can't really set anything going until we have somewhere for it to go, but that's probably good, really. No, actually, it'll be fine. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a stop here, which will be, all right, I'm already in that mode, which will essentially be you've got it to the surface and now we need to decide where to put it, stop. And we'll have that be there. And that one will initially have no instructions. And then we can add instructions once we've got a full minecart there and we then work out what we're going to do. Seb asks, what's the magma for? That's an almost heretical question. The magma is for being magma. No, the magma is for allowing us to build magma-powered smelters and forges so that we can make more steel armour without needing to mine so much coal, because we're running out of coal. We still need some coal because you can't actually, at least in Dwarf Fortress technology levels, make coal without steel. Make steel without coal. But you can do it with a lot less coal if you have magma at your disposal. So I'm slightly concerned by that cat. I'm not sure that cat can actually get out, But that's not a problem. Cats don't eat in Dwarf Fortress, which is like very unrealistic. So that...
It would be just like a cat to wander into a bizarre place involving things that are nice and warm and then not be able to get out.
That steel minecart is slightly awkward because I want to work out which steel minecart this is on the list of steel minecarts. Is there a sensible way I can tag it briefly? I mean, I can ask for it to be dumped or melted, but I don't think that will actually be visible in this view. And I don't want... They're all exceptional steel minecarts. Well, let's assume I used the first one last time. Oh, can we then... Oh, right, yes, maybe it would get a task assigned. Right, that is the correct minecart.
You ought to introduce a system of registration numbers.
Yes, I think I wanted to do that, but it turns out you can't name minecarts. Pink Beast points out the cat wishes you to know it has never been fed and is literally starving. Yes, yes. Well, it's not literally starving because it can't starve, but we have kind of walled it up into a cellar. So I think it's possible that we're not going to get a proper siege this season, in that we saw one goblin thief who did admittedly manage to kill an elf accidentally before dying. Here we have in the water one elf corpse, a quantity of elf clothing and some silty clay.
I mean, at this point it's suddenly useful that the tribute was useless.
Kind of, yes. I mean, the clothes are much more useful than the silty clay. Like, at some point we might actually want to drain this thing in order to get some of the goodies out of it, but probably not yet. There's still plenty of copper armour to melt down here. And as you may have noticed, we do have a... Okay, this one is getting scheduled to make steel bars, which will be a lot more practical once we have all the bits for making steel bars up here. So maybe actually we should start... So what's that? That's my low quality steel stuff stockpile. That's not a very useful stockpile, is it? The copper stuff stockpile is getting fairly empty now. That appears to be a forbidden glove in an unhelpful location. Let's fix that. Similarly, all the stuff in that square is... Indeed, in general, stuff on this side of the river probably shouldn't be forbidden. That's unforbidden an enormous pile of stuff, hasn't it? Right. Unpause. Right, so that minecart is currently being carried to its correct location. Then my hope is it will then get guided all the way... Hang on, this is going to go in the wrong direction, isn't it? It's not going to get filled with magma initially. It's going to get guided all the way to the surface in order that we can test that we can send it back down again. And then we're not actually going to immediately send it back down again. Well, that's kind of fine. Let's check that it can actually be guided up. Let's see what that does. Note you're carrying it. Right, okay, that means that first we need to stop that. because that's not going to help. And second, we need to work out why it's not working properly. We should work out what's going on with some of these other things as well. So that's trying to get to the surface. That's not a good place for it to be trying to get to. So let's switch that to none. Then if we switch it back to the correct minecart, does it get the first location again? Yes. It's not there either, but... so that means that we think, that the dwarves think they can't push a minecart from here to the surface. So let's check why. That square connects west. That square correctly connects east and connects south. That one connects north and south. That all looks good. I mean, we might want to try making shorter routes and seeing what that does. And maybe I don't want to end up going carefully through every square of this track, but happily all the rubbish on the track is unlikely to be a problem. Also, happily, the track mostly goes in the same direction. And I think we've tested most of this already, so I don't quite know what's going wrong. But, like, I can't quite remember why I abandoned this either. I think most of this has been tested and worked. But I did change some things, I think, to make the downward run work properly. I mean, possibly what we should actually do is haul a different granite minecart up to the top and shove it down and see what happens. Precisely. This all looks sane, but I suspect it's, if there's anything wrong, it's probably actually going to be close to the surface where we've been messing with things. One thing I'm slightly worried about. What? Why does that square appear as a downward slope? But here we don't have any, like, tracks or ramps. There it sorts itself out again. Yeah, we seem to have a weird section here that's like unusable downward slope because a tree's growing on it, right? Possibly because it's become muddy. Okay, right. Well, it was worth carefully going through every damn square. Why is this inaccessible? Also, we've got bituminous coal here. We could come down and mine some coal. Probably because there's some other missing ramp, isn't there? So that door's passable. So presumably, if we try to build a ramp there, we can. Ah, right, yes, but we, for some reason, can't. That one has got something happening in it. Hang on, let's. Right, so we can build that ramp, and then that will make it possible to get further down. Oh, except we probably can't actually pick up that thing, the sandstone that's there. Well, let's see what happens, but I worry that we might not be able to actually build that. Also, like, there's an entire coal seam here, but it's also damp, I suppose. We don't really want to be messing with that. So what we've done on the higher levels in order to make access easier is to build 2 ramps in parallel. I think we should possibly try to do the same here, but that will involve knocking through that. Let's work out let's see if we can build that wall at all, that ramp at all. And if we can't, then we'll have to, like, get more access ways in and so forth. And go, oh, God's trees. Like, I'm sure they're very nice and all, my dear elves, but cool, people are actually dumping things. That's quite rare. What are you dumping? You're dumping an iron mail, a very worn out iron mail shirt. I don't know that I want you to do that. I think that should be melted. I mean, I'm not sure I think it hard enough to stop you, mind. Diziot has pointed out that trees are often a problem for railways. Yes, in our case, because they grow in the middle of the track and destroy the track. So no one is currently trying to build that ramp, which makes me think it might be impossible. Oh, it's a Minotaur. Where has the Minotaur come? It's somewhere in this sea spray by any chance. Yes, there. Okay, well, hopefully you'll walk onto a cage trap, and it will go twang, and we'll have a Minotaur in a cage. Just in case, though, let's summon some of our more competent dwarves to somewhere vaguely nearby. So here's our Minotaur. And here's our Minotaur in the cage.
Now what are you going to do with it?
That's a very good question. Like we do have a mechanism, still have a mechanism for throwing cages into the sea, kind of.
Yeah, but you always have to check whether things can swim before you do that.
The last one we parked in the goblin welcoming area. Well, it means it was an ettin, but still. So we could park it there and see if the goblins foolishly release it. I mean, I feel that possibly we could just have a zoo of megafauna somewhere. So, about this weirdly broken railway.
I feel as if these Minotaurs are a bit underpowered. I'm pretty sure the mythical Minotaur would not have been stopped for very long by being put in a human-made cage.
Yes.
Even Daedalus would have had trouble making a cage that would hold it. Admittedly, mostly because he would have made it out and whacked the idiot.
So, yes, what we have here, the issue we have with getting down here is that there's a lot of wet rock, and so we've like nicely walled things in, but that makes it rather hard to get in here now, because we really want to go down through this square, but there's a block wall underneath it, and you can't just mine into block walls, I think. But we can't get down into that square by other means. Though actually the next, like, we only have to go a few Z levels down and everything starts working again. So we could just like dig a downward staircase all the way through that lot so that we can come in from below. If we can come in from below. I mean, we can come in round this side, I suppose, and like the whole thing will get a bit soggy, and then we'll tank it properly with an adequacy of access ways and such. Actually, yes. What I think I should do is to dig a downward staircase that will then be... Oh, it's caravan. Excellent. I should dig a downward staircase past those soggy levels, reasonably close to them, and then we'll work out a means of resealing it. As necessary. So for simplicity, I think it should actually be somewhere that, if we put it in that column, now let's put it in that column so that it can have more easy access to at least the lower two layers. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Does the caravan have to come over the Goblin Bridge? Probably. But as long as no one goes and trips the pressure plate, it'll be fine. Right, so that And then that's connected back up to here so that we can, even if it can't drain quite properly, I mean, there is an argument we should try to make it possible for this to drain into the caverns or something, because we'll get a little bit of water in here. So let's find that, see where there's a caravan. If we can easily see it, it'll be on the edge of the map somewhere. I mean, sometimes they can arrive from the north. Very rarely, though. I can't immediately see the caravan. I've unpaused so that now they can move. Oh, there's the caravan. It's arrived from this corner. So they will not go over the... There's another balked ramp, isn't there? And the caravan from Vabok Okang has arrived. That one's arrived down in the south and is going to have to take a rather roundabout route.
Friday morning I would have been adding books, but I will take a mask and portable sticks, which you know if anybody decides to probably can face in here. Good night.
Right, so we now have the Minotaur cage installed somewhere. Right, so we seem to have some more unhappy ramps, possibly because they've accidentally got wet. Because that there needs to have a ramp installed. It's probably going to be most simply done by like digging a ramp from one square away and then reconstructing the ramp on the square below. I think that's not one of our Mark's dwarves. Surely. Yes, I think that's the Mark's dwarf who came with the caravan. So the first batch of merchants has arrived. One has a large sock. We can't use large socks. We may be running short. We don't really care about leather low boots, I suppose. We may be beginning to run short of second-hand clothes to trade at this rate. This isn't a big problem. We have plenty of things that aren't second-hand clothes to trade. Someone keeps making bone bracelets, for instance. I think actually there's some worn clothes. Ditto there. That's probably getting to be enough, isn't it? Oh dear, Id Sazir is oblivious. How could you be cheered, Id? I mean, you really ought to do all right. Nothing much has been making life horrible for you other than trauma and a shortage of friends and family, and we can't do much about any of those. If we cut this lot away, then we can build block walls around there to seal the water out. My kind of hope is that that will then make it reasonably practical to use this for repairing the railway when it gets flooded. Maybe. So all this layer is dry. But this lot is kind of damp, and so we need to do something to keep it from growing too many trees, which might mean sealing the walls and then maybe even demolishing and rebuilding the staircase. I hope not. Damn it, I should have use the go to button. So yes, we want to mine that area out again. I don't think there's any reason why that shouldn't be mineable though. Right, so we've now knocked that out, which is not actually helpful for what we're trying to accomplish. Oh, except that it tells me now that I also want to mine that square and that square if we're going to build walls. Have we got all our stuff here? Yes. Let's ask the broker to come and join us. Oh. The giant peach-faced lovebirds appear to have been, well, oh. No, so Nish Oslanetost has mostly been fighting this mace dwarf. No, rather the mace dwarf has mostly, the peach-faced giant peach-faced lovebirds have been mostly attacking this mace dwarf, and mostly pretty ineffectually. So, who is this Nish Oslanetost who's been found dead? I mean, that caravan is now fleeing, possibly precisely because one of, oh, yes, there, Nish Oslanetost, who has clearly been in a fight, given the damage to their clothes. But we don't quite know how and with what. Well, maybe we'll have to memorialise them to find out, don't know. Let's at least reclaim their clothes. Well, that's going to limit how much trading we can do. I mean, admittedly, they don't seem to have brought very much stuff, but possibly the goodness, I think the mace dwarf may have maybe having some difficulty with this peach-faced lovebird. Oh no, it looks fine. Oh no, agitated giant peach-faced lovebird has torn their left lower arm, which is probably why they're now in hand-to-hand combat. Which, yeah, that might have lost. I think I'm going to see if we can get some military out here in a reasonable hurry. Just in case. But I think it might be a bit late. Maybe someone will actually come to rescue the poor mace dwarf. Well, they're kind of wrestling one another now, it looks like. There's a cat coming to help. I mean, there are dwarves coming, but oh, here is a the Mark's dwarf from I think from the other caravan, who has heard that there is some trouble with a giant peach-faced lovebird. No, he's not going to get involved after all. But here are my military dwarves who probably are going to be willing to get involved. Though, to be fair, the peach-faced lovebird does seem to have mostly disengaged now. Right, peach-faced lovebird chopped into little pieces. Not quite sure if it was that one, because there have been several. Oh, that looks more plausible. I don't know. Anyway, there is no longer a peach-faced lovebird in danger of harming this very injured dwarf, though they do appear to have decided that the safest thing to do after such an attack is to try to get off the map, except they've passed out again. I don't know if my dwarves are going to try to force them into hospital. Doesn't look like it. How are you doing? Where are you anyway? I've lost you. Oh, you've lost yourself. Right, I hope you made it off the map, though you have left that merchant behind. We might bury them, I don't know. Anyway, back to the trade depot. What is going on with our broker? Our broker is actually on the way to the trade depot. Excellent.
You still got tea?
I've still got tea. It's midnight and I've got tea. Oh well, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure I can still get some sleep. Oh, we found some more damp stone down there. Let's try to fix that. What? This layer? I mean, I suppose it is probably slightly damp down here because there's some water coming down the stairs. What we actually want is to start constructing walls to seal this lot in. so that ideally we can end up with it not being wet down here at all, and we can clean the mud off everything so that trees stop growing. I think that bituminous coal can't support an aquifer anyway. So conveniently, we don't actually need to wall that bit in. Right, have you guys brought anything we actually want? I bet you haven't. Why are you making blocks out of kaolinite? You can cook the stuff and turn it into much more valuable porcelain. Oh, we don't need animals. We've got plenty of animals. Oh, we'll buy some dwarven beer. We've only got 8,742 food. We'll have a steel spear, though. Probably a couple of steel picks, too. We'll take new shoes, especially if they're nicely decorated, and some... nah, let's leave the low boots. We prefer high boots here. Probably okay for heavy shields. We'll have some nice gloves. And mittens. We have more than enough food. I have no idea what our thread situation is. We'll have some trousers. We'll have those nice steel chain leggings. We'll have all your parchment. Right, can we afford that? Sorry, this is rather tedious as I find all of the things that I don't think we need to keep. So I'm mostly here, at the moment here, selecting anything that's even slightly worn. And also, at least notionally, anything that won't fit dwarves. So anything sized for humans in particular that would be indicated as large. A lot of the very battered clothes are ones that goblins turned up wearing, and we hacked the goblin to pieces without carefully undressing them first. Pygmy says, I wonder why so much clothing is made from incredibly dangerous beasties, not e.g. sheep. Well, in our world, it's because we have to kill the dangerous creatures anyway. So then we have a pile of bits of skin that we need to do something with. So we may as well tan them and turn them into shoes. Like, giant peach-faced lovebirds will just turn up and attack us. So at that point, well, we're going to end up making giant peach-faced lovebird leather tunics and such like. And the troll fur is stuff brought by the goblins, and I'm not sure whether the trolls are allies or tame. I mean, they're probably somewhere in between. And so for them, a troll is probably the equivalent of like a horse for us. All right, that's enough rubbish clothes. Right, that's enough trading with that caravan, and the other caravan is pissed off because one of their number got killed, probably by a giant peach-faced lovebird. Given that people keep being interrupted by giant peach-faced lovebirds. I hope that can now be built. So meanwhile, we can construct a wall there. To keep the water out. And there. So it's getting quite late now, but I don't want to stop doing this sealing up operation early, because otherwise I'm just going to get confused. Actually, no, cancel that. Build that out of the lump of sandstone that's on the square. Except I can't, because I'll have to stop that sandstone being hauled first. There. Oh, that's one of my own dwarves actually using a crossbow. How exciting. They missed, but like demonstrates they can at least do it. Oh no, sorry, a hit. The first one was a hit. Flying iron bolt strikes the agitated giant peach-faced lovebird in the left wing, tearing the muscle. So yeah, I think our peasant may not be much good at properly practicing, but in a like controlled environment. But Toon, wherever they are. has at least got some Marks dwarfing experience now. See, there they are, shooting at a giant peach-faced lovebird repeatedly at quite some range. I think it's dead now, you can stop. See, up to novice already. Looks like, unfortunately, you did actually consume most of those crossbow bolts. Oh well, there are lots of crossbow bolts lying around. Like, the goblins have left an awful lot. See? He feels satisfied upon improving crossbow and archery. I think archery is the common skills between crossbow and bow. So yes, that was that. Of course, is another way to learn to practice your weapon without when you're not willing to use an archery range. Maybe you should try to give this militia captain a heavier crutch. Though, to be fair, you're doing pretty well. A giant hamster has come to interrupt your training, and so you are vigorously beating it until it leaves your combat. The place where you're doing your individual combat skill. You are now an adept misc object user as a result of repeatedly beating things up with your crutch. I mean, it is quite a crutch. It's like the quantity of gems on it is stupid. It's worth 12,000 gold. Okay, we're not actually going to replace your crutch. Like, what? In theory, this crutch, yeah, is made of oak, but in practice, it's made of round dendritic agate agate cabochons and briolette cut purple spinels and well crafted round brilliant cut rose quartzes and exceptionally worked rectangular white chalcedony cabochons and bands of baguette cut blue jades, square cut green jades, exceptionally worked rose cut yellow jaspers, superior quality cushion cut rock crystals, square cut amber opals, exceptionally worked table cut sapphires, exceptionally worked tapered baguette cut tiger eyes, exceptionally worked oval cut grey chalcedonies, exceptionally worked briolette cut white jades, exceptionally worked harlequin opals, exceptionally worked tapered baguette cut pyrites, exceptionally worked single cut smoky quartzes, exceptionally worked briolette cut lavender jades, exceptionally worked single cut rubies, exceptionally superior quality cushion sardonyx cabochons, marquise cut red spinels, finely crafted cushion cut green tourmalines, and exceptionally worked cushion jasper opal cabochons, plus adorned with hanging rings of chrysoprase, exceptionally worked turquoise, well-crafted milk quartz, and well-crafted aquamarine, and menacing with spikes of kimberlite, exceptionally worked clear tourmaline, exceptionally worked aventurine, exceptionally worked amethyst, exceptionally worked indigo tourmaline, exceptionally worked carnelian, exceptionally worked citrine, superior quality lace agate, superior quality yellow spessartine, exceptionally worked red flash opal, and exceptionally worked brown jasper. Plus there's an image of a chicken in moss opal. And I haven't finished, but I'm going to stop. Though it does have an exceptionally designed image of Omentan, the even skies, the armour bin brackets donkey bone, angle brackets number 62 in red tourmaline. Oh, and it's covered in blood. So, yes. No, I can't. I can't carry on. So, yes, this is what is currently being used by this dwarf to pursue and beat, possibly to death, this giant hamster. Don't worry, I'm not going to take your crutch off you. Right, there we go. Giant hamster beaten to death with a crutch that has a stupid quantity of gems on it. It doesn't even have a name. It'll probably get a name if it gets used to kill many more creatures, though. One of the sad things, actually, is that items no longer seem to have kill lists. And people have kill lists, but they're not related to their items. But I think that giant hamster, at least, was killed with a crutch. That is, like, a hell of an item. And, yes, quite effective for dealing with giant hamsters, too. Basically, yes, you beat it in the head until its head collapsed or exploded into gore, which is presumably now covering the crutch, which at some point you should probably wash. I don't seem to be able to make the scroll bar. Oh, I can only do it by using the scroll thing. Yes, it's now spattered with giant hamster blood. Image of snails in shawl. Image of signing shuns in red zircon. And like these decorations are from different people. I don't quite know how this crutch ended up like this, but yes, anyway, I was trying to finish off keeping the water out of the railway, wasn't I, before I went to bed. Where's the railway gone? There it is. So we don't actually need to build much there. We need more digging to happen. We can wall that in. Before it leaks further. We may actually mostly be waiting for digging. Do we have no mining dwarves available at the moment or something? That's kind of annoying because I'd like to get to a point where I'm not having to think about this area, and it's also not in too much danger of flooding, but that does mean we need the remaining bits to be dug. Though I think actually we may have the tracks in place now. So that one is properly tracked. That one has tracks. That one does not yet have tracks. So we need to do build construction track from there to there, out of, oh, go on, let's build it out of copper, and then actually cancel that one because it's already on a track, but not that one, but cancel that one. Right, and then that's one square of track to be built. Huh. That's bad. One of my peasants got killed by a giant hamster. No, you're wearing armour. Oh, but you got paralysed by being thrown around. Oh dear. Right, well, you're going to get buried, but we're going to need to pay more attention to the giant hamsters. Anyway, yes. Yes, I need to go to bed too. I was hoping that we could finish off this building work here, but it looks like that is not actually... That got rebuilt in a bad order. That's not actually in any imminent danger of happening because the miners have got distracted. So I think I need to go to bed. So we are going to be slightly sad about the fact that we seem to have lost someone to a giant hamster, which is particularly annoying given they did actually have adequate armour on, but the giant hamster was just too giant. So that does indicate that you really need everyone to actually know how to use their weapons as well. And we'll probably be back on Friday. And yes, we didn't have a siege because, well, one goblin thief turned up instead. So we'll see what happens next season. Anyway, until then, I will save and say good night. Good night.